My name is John Price. I'm 76 years old. I am the grateful recipient of a single left lung transplant that occurred in October 2021. In February 2020, my specialist in Bunbury referred me to the Advanced Lung Disease Unit here at Fiona Stanley, and I came in for vetting for a clinical trial.
John had interstitial lung disease characterised by pulmonary fibrosis, where the lung tissue gradually scars and shrinks down and then effectively stops working. There are no good treatments available for interstitial lung disease, and hence that's why John was a very good candidate initially for clinical trials as we try and develop better treatments for pulmonary fibrosis. But at this stage, lung transplantation is what is required, particularly when it becomes advanced. Otherwise it would be fatal.
At the beginning of 2021, I had an exacerbation. I was swimming up to 3 kilometres a session without a problem. And then on the last week of January, I found I was running out of breath. And in the space of 2 weeks, I went from being able to swim 3 kilometres without stopping to not being able to swim 100 metres. And then I knew something was seriously wrong.
Unfortunately, the clinical trial didn't lead to any significant improvement. And it was that point that lung transplantation was raised actually by John, and we then assessed him for transplantation going forward.
In May, they invited me in for a workup. I spent 5 days in here, most of which was radiology. There were a lot of blood tests taken and exercise tests taken. At the end of it, Michael Musk came in and said, "We haven't found any preclusions to you having a lung transplant," which was very good news.
So given the nature of John's pulmonary fibrosis, and also John at 75 is an older transplant recipient, it was deemed possible that we could perform a single lung transplant with the expectation of getting a better result than any other type of transplant, given that it's a much better operation and easier operation to recover from, and we thought that would suit John better.
Once surgery was completed and I was taken to the ward, then I started to understand the length and breadth of people that were involved in my care. One of the important things I did for me during my stay in here was to make a note of every person's name that came into my ward every day. That ranged from surgeons, specialists, nurses, physiotherapists, down to the hospitality staff. Every person that came into my room every day had taken a happy pill before they went to work. And I was incredibly grateful for that because their mood was good, their mood was positive. I could keep on saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to them. They gave me absolutely unstinting care. They did it incredibly pleasantly with a smile on their face. They described everything that they were going to do to me along the way through. I had plenty of warning about everything, and their care was above and beyond reproach.
So we'll continue to look after John forever, and unfortunately he doesn't get to leave us. But we'll continue to have him port and manage and monitor his lung function. We'll ensure that medications are continued, and then clearly we want to make sure that the impact of those medications long term on him and his health, that we are managing those and looking for any potential complications, so that, like John says, he wants to get 15 years. We want him to get as many years as possible. So therefore we're going to work with John to ensure that not only the lungs, but the rest of him is healthy as well into the future.
Look, it's just stunning to wake up every morning and think, I feel really healthy. I'm healthier than I was 15 to 20 years ago, and I can do things that that I would struggle to do 10 years ago, and I'm just so incredibly grateful. My family I think, will benefit from it. I've got 8 grandchildren, and they all love me to bits, and I love them to bits, and it's a joy being with them as they get older. Just life, being alive, nothing better.